Day my life, day my heart. It's another beautiful Thursday morning right here. And I am super excited. I don't know about you because the holy month of Ramadan is likely to end today, this evening. And then we have so many, holidays ahead of us. Good morning to you and welcome to the Koko Digest Morning Show right here on Clock TV. We are coming to you live from our studios here within the Ministerial Enclave. We are also live on Go TV. Channel 184. We are also streaming live on our various social media platforms, Facebook and on YouTube, so you can catch us there. I am your host, Peter Kojo Nsia, and today I'm not doing it alone. I'm doing this with my wonderful co-host, Nana Nketia is actually right here with me, and then together we will guide you through conversations, ideas that matter to the development of Ghana. Today we have exciting lineup of conversations for you on the show, so you don't have to go anywhere at all. I'm here with Nana Nketia Kwatin. Nana, good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
It's another beautiful day.
Yes, we are up and grateful. We are up and living. Today's the day the Lord has made, so we'll just rejoice and be glad in it.
Exactly.
How are you doing?
I'm feeling great. As I said, I'm happy because the weekend is approaching, and then we have some 2 holidays ahead of us.
Yes, it's actually exciting. We need a rest, so
exactly.
I think we're all looking forward to the holidays.
But did you join Muslim brothers and sisters to fast?
No, unfortunately, no. I'm not a Muslim.
You are not a Muslim.
Yes, I do my fast. I mean, when I have to, but not this Ramadan season.
For me, I tried. I did about 5 days because I have friends who are into it. So sometimes I have to help them, help the spirits. So I tried to.
That's fine. I barely have Muslim friends, so
yeah. And so, today we have, like I said, we have interesting conversations coming your way. And we are still celebrating the Ghana month as we started by, talking about some unsung heroes, the women who actually contributed their quota to the development of Ghana. And then last week, we also spoke about some Ga symbols, the wisdom behind the symbols. Today, too, we are continuing. Today, we are talking about some account symbols. We'll be talking to you about some account symbols, actually 3 of them. And then still on the online and print paper review, too, we'll be talking about something that started way back in 2021 under the XY administration, that is the SIM registration. According to the communications minister, that exercise will begin anytime soon. We are going to do re-registration again. We'll be talking about that as well. And then we'll be talking about rent issues here in Ghana. Landlords taking, excessively taking more than the required number of advance that they have to take. We'll be talking about that. Is it that we don't have enough houses, or tenants actually do not know their rights? So we'll be talking about the Rent Control Act as well. And then also, we'll be talking about some fraudulent activities happening. People, taking people's money illegally. They are frauding them, their Momo account. We'll be talking about that as well. And then on the business segment, we'll be talking about what is happening about 1,000 miles away from us. I'm talking about the Middle East tension, the implications it is having on Ghana's economy. And then on the lifestyle segment, they'll be talking about the Ghanaian smile through the years, a look at oral hygiene and then now. And then on the sports segment, since the man himself is here, I would like to hear from him what to expect today.
Yes, so today promises to be exciting, just as the day has begun with. We had some UCL games. Aside the local stories that we talk about, we had some UCL games that we also like to discuss on the sports show this morning. So I entreat viewers to stay with us and enjoy the show.
I would like to do something. Say there's a wise saying that goes that say agro eba ufia in dear become kushia. But then I'll do it because I'm excited about yesterday's results. The 7-2.
Yes.
I didn't imagine that, but then, like you said, we'll talk about it. So I wouldn't rush at all. And so you see, we have so much to talk about today, so you don't have to miss on any of our conversation right here. And as we do it, I'll borrow the words of Nanaya Asari, who says that we have to give you some daily dose of motivation so that you can actually carry out your day with some form of energy and pride. So it's time for our motivational quote for the astute man. His name is Kofi Abrifa Busia. Most of us know him very well because when you take a look at history, he also played a significant role in the development or the attainment of independence. And he says that the success of a nation depends on the character and hard work of its citizens. The success of a nation depends on the character and hard work of its citizen. That's very interesting. The success of a nation depends on the character and hard work of its citizens. Nadanketia, what do you make of this quote?
Yes, so I think in the colonial days, when you look at most of the quotes or most of the motivational speeches that were given by these leaders, founding men and all that, most of them, the inspiration came from how to create a country, how to raise the standard of a country, how to elevate the country as a whole. So I think this motivational quote by Busia is just trying to entreat and encourage Ghanaians, the then Gold Coast citizens, as to what they must do, what we must do to raise the country as a whole. And it was going further to let us understand that it's not just about those in power. It's about we, the citizens, as well. It is our hard work, it's our commitment, it's our dedication that will help, raise the standard of the country, raise the flag of Ghana high. Whatever we are put in positions, and no matter how small, big or small it is, our little quota will go a long way than just, neglecting our duties or ignoring, refusing to do what is right. We all need to come together to raise the flag of Ghana high.
We all need to come together to raise the flag of Ghana high. And so in a nutshell, it means that collective responsibility is what is actually going to help us build a nation. So let me elaborate on the quote right here. So Busia emphasized that a country becomes successful because of the behavior and work ethic of its people. So if citizens are honest, they are disciplined, they are responsible and hardworking, that will put together to help develop the country. But if people lack integrity, avoid work or misuse public resources, the nation will struggle to progress. Busia was therefore stressing that development is not only the responsibility of leaders. Every citizen must show good character and commitment to work. And so basically the main idea is a nation grows when its citizens demonstrate strong values, responsibility, and dedication to work. So, Nana, you see, we have this philosophy, let me use philosophy in this country that, if you are employed in a government sector because you think that it is not for you and it's for government, you choose to, act anyhow. But today, this quote is making us understand that our collective, responsibility, our discipline, integrity, all boils down to help in the development of our country. So it shouldn't be a private institution that if you find yourself in a private institution, that is where you want to give your all, your quota, you go to work as early as possible, you make sure that everything is working perfectly. But then when you find yourself in a government institution, because it's for government, it's not for me, let me do anything at all. At the end of the day, I'll be paid.
I think it boils down to accountability as well, and then personal, standards. Accountability in the sense that the level of accountability in our government sector. Now we are doing well, but then some years back it was quite low. Our maintenance culture was low. Accountability culture was quite low. So people didn't really value the things they had, especially working in the government sector. And now things are getting better. We are learning as time goes on, and then we are training ourselves to become better people. So I think it's all down to accountability and personal standards. I feel like if I'm in this position and then I'm going to handle things well, because the next person who come after me definitely knows that I was here, and then for my personal integrity's sake and for my standards' sake, I would want to do better, because whoever comes after me needs to commend me for what I have done. So I think we are doing better now, but there is more room for improvement, as our teachers tell us all the time.
we are doing better, but there's more room for improvement. Let's now take weather forecast. All right, so what you're seeing on your screen is the 24-hour impact-based forecast for Ghana, and this is from the Ghana Meteorological Agency. And then the colors you're seeing green colors, and it means that low risk. And wherever within that green colors, there are numbers where you see D, you see A. So the ones with D, it means that the impact is low. A is the same as the impact being low. And so like the color you see, it's green, and so there's low risk. Now let's take a look at how the weather is going to be like. So this morning, partly cloudy would dominate most parts of the country with few cases of mist or fog patches along the coastal line, mountainous and forest areas. Sunny with high temperature will be experienced across all sectors from mid-morning into late afternoon. However, formation of rain and thunder clouds are expected to produce localized rain or thunderstorms over parts of the middle and transition sector from the late afternoon into the evening hours. Meanwhile, the northern sector will remain generally hot and sunny with slightly hazy condition prevailing over the upper region. So basically what it means is that today the weather is going to be very, very hot. And so as always, GMET advises that we reduce our exposure to the sun. And so if you are now leaving the comfort of your home, you can carry an umbrella with you. As of today, because the weather is going to be very, very hot, you have to be taking in more water as well. And then this morning, as I stated, in the coastal area, where they are experiencing partly cloudy and some misty condition as well. And then when it is misty, GMET advises drivers to make good use of their headlights and reduce speeding as visibility is always deteriorated. And then in the northern sector today, those in Damango, Bolegatang, those in Yendi, Tamale, and Bole should, expect few clouds. And in the evening, it is going to be slightly hazy at Bolegatanga and Nerugu. And then the people of Ho and Koforidia, there is a 40% chance of rain this afternoon. And then the people of Akemoda, Kumasi too, this evening, there's a 30% chance of showers as well. But then to this morning at Aflao, it is partly cloudy. Kaswatu is partly cloudy. And so the afternoon, as I stated, is going to be very, very, very hot. So viewers should take note of that. And the state of the sea today is calm as well. And this is all I have for you on the weather. This is all I have for you today for the weather outlook. Up next is the online and print paper review segment. But before we get to that, we have our word of the day. Let's take our word of the day before we move on to the online and print paper review segment. And I can see today the word of the day is quite interesting. The word of the day, it should be on your screen now, is endurance. Endurance. And most people, when they hear endurance, they think of one TikToker. Endurance Grand. Yes. And the word endurance, it means endurance is the ability to continue doing something for a long time, despite pain, difficulty, or hardship. Endurance is the ability to continue doing something for a long time, despite pain, difficulty, or hardship. And at this morning, James Marcelo, he was telling me how tired he is. He has started something. But despite the pain and the stress, he's still holding on to it. He still wants to achieve whatever he intends achieving. And so that's a critical example of endurance. Yeah. And I don't know if you have something to say about it.
So as a trainer myself, who is much more interested in physical fitness and all, I think endurance goes a long way for myself and then my colleagues, my friends. And then as a footballer, especially footballers, endurance is very key and very important. So I think, just as you said, James, he's actually going through a lot of pains, but then endurance goes hand in hand with what you hope to achieve. Sometimes when you know the goal you want to achieve, you tend to forget about the pain, and then that drives you, that gives you the drive. That is that is what endurance is all about. The drive to get you to the end, what you want to achieve. So I think endurance is actually we all need it in our lives, so regardless of whatever, whether fitness, normal life activities, family, it's everywhere. The drive to get to where you want to get to, working, doing this work, whatever work you find yourself doing. Sometimes you need that kind of endurance. There's something I always tell my colleague, the 3 P's: patience, persistence, perspiration. It's all on that endurance. When you are patient and then you go on ahead to do whatever you want to do, it's a lot. But then your goal you want to achieve, what you want to do, and then it will, with this drive, it'll help you get to where you want to get to.
Exactly. And so it means basically that the strength that keeps you going even when you are tired. Yes. And so that's our word of the day: endurance. Up next is the online and print paper review with my co-host. Please stay with us. We'll be back soon. You're welcome back. If you are just tuning in, you are watching the Koko Digest Morning Show right here on Clock TV. Remember that we are streaming live on our various social media platforms, Facebook and on YouTube. We are also live on GoTV, channel 184. It's time for the online and print paper review. As I stated earlier, we started by, we are still celebrating the Ghana month, and so we started by learning some symbols. Last week, we learned about some Ghana symbols. Today, we'll be learning about some Akan symbols as well. I'm joined by my wonderful able co-host right here with me, Nanaya Asari and Na Ajibia. Good morning, lady and gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Kodunsia.
How are you feeling this morning? Are you as excited as I am?
I'm okay. I'm fine. Yeah.
Yes, and those of you who were not in the studios earlier, I'm sure they must have, or those in the studio rather, must have heard the chanting songs that we were doing. You are ready to do the work. Yes. So
yeah. So okay. As you heard from Nana, we are ready, and I know you're ready as well. And so, like I stated earlier, we are learning about some Akan symbols today, and I'd like to begin with ladies first, right? So
you want Nana to fight me today?
Oh, Nana is a gentleman.
Oh no,
so, you want Nana to fight me?
Please go ahead.
Right. So today we are talking about
ladies first.
Okay, I saw what you did there. So we are talking about symbols this morning, and I would like to start with Jinyame. But before then, Jinyame is one of the most popular symbols when it comes to Akan history. I mean, when you talk about symbols, you cannot take Jinyame out. But then before then, I would like to talk about how the Edinkra symbol came about. So I'm giving you a brief history, okay? So the Edinkra symbol came from the German kingdom, okay? The Bono and the German connection. So the symbols are believed to have originated from German kingdom. German is a suburb of the Bono people, okay?
It means German.
German. Okay, not German. German. So German. So in present day Ghana and then Cote d'Ivoire, if I'm not wrong. So according to the Asante Kingdom, the symbol, I'm sure like plenty of people know that the Edinkra symbols are from the Ashantis. Yes. But then today I have a history that says that it's not from the Ashantis, but then from the Bono people. So I'm going to give you a very short history. So according to the Asante legend, the symbols are named after Nana Kojo Ajiman Edinkra. So the Edinkra, Nana Kojo Edinkra, is a king of the German people. Okay. So it's a name of a king that was captured into captivity during a war between the Bono people and the Ashanti people. So, back in the days when you are being captured, like they take all you are being captured into captivity, they take everything that belongs to you. So around the 1880s, the king Edinkra was defeated in a war by the Ashanti people. So legend states he wore a patterned clothes to express his sorrow during the capture. So the Ashanti king then, Otumfo Osebun Supenyim, reportedly seized Edinkra's robe and adopted the symbols, further developing them into complex system we see today. So according to the history, when Nana Edinkra, the king of the Bono, was captured, he wore, a very, they describe it to be a patterned cloth, which had like the symbols in it. So in tree, the robe actually symbolized, the sorrow which he portrayed during that time. And in Akan, the language, the word Edinkra means goodbye, which means farewell. Edinkra.
Oh, okay.
So that's how the name came about, Edinkra. Edinkra symbol. So this is why.
So when he was captured, he had that rope which had that symbols.
So he wore that cloth to show his grief or sorrow.
Okay.
Sorrow. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorrow. To the whole issue, because a king being captured is something, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the Edinkra cloth was hand printed ever since, and then, you know, that's why we have the Edinkra symbols now. So yeah, it's not from the Ashantis.
That's where we got the Edinkra symbols from.
Exactly.
A man, a king who was captured, and he had that rope, and that rope was actually taken from him. And from there, the symbols right on the rope was actually
exactly. And then in these days, you mostly find the Edinkra on clothes, especially when it comes to funerals, to, you know, grief, to show their grief. That is the main specific reason why we see some of these symbols, especially when it comes to funerals and our culture acts. You see them everywhere today. And now let's go back to the Jinyami symbol. So the Jinyami symbol is one of the most popular and iconic symbol from the Akan people. So that's where it's known to be from. They captured it, so they took everything. Yeah. So I think it even boils down to the conflict still happening between the Bono people and then the Ashanti. I don't know how far. Maybe Nana will talk about it. I'm sure Nana will.
Historian.
Yeah, historian will talk about it. Now, do you want to continue before?
Oh, no, you finish it up. Finish it up. I mean, you're doing justice to it already.
Okay, so the Jinyami symbol is one of the most popular and iconic Edinkra symbols from the Akan people of Ghana. It literally translates "except God." Jinyami. People call it Jinyami, but me, when I'm pronouncing it, I like to add the A to it, Jinyami, which means "except God," and it symbolizes the omnipotence of God. It represents the supremacy, power, and immortality of God, fearlessness. So you see people even giving the tattoos on their body, like the symbol, which symbolizes fearlessness. Oh, I don't fear anyone except my creator, God. Yeah. So let's talk about the divine presence. So the symbol reflects the belief that God has been present since the beginning of time and will remain after everything else ends. A concept often expressed through the Akan aphorism. This great panorama of creation dates back to time immemorial. No one lives who saw its beginning, and no one will live to see its end except God. Yeah. So this is a very small background about how the Edinkra symbol came about, and also the Jinyami symbol as well.
Right. So Nana, we've learned about the origin of the Edinkra symbols, and which she said translates to it literally means Jinyami literally means
unless God.
Unless God. Yeah. And then the Edinkra symbols, Dinkra.
Yeah, goodbye, farewell.
All right. Yeah. So Nana, what do you have for us? What do you
so Beverly has actually taken us back to history in school, and I wish to add just a few more to what she said. Now, the reason why the Bonos are called Ahafu means when you hear Bono Ahafu, it means, what does it mean? Ahafu.
Ahafu.
Ahafu are the rightful owners of this place.
If we have,
Ahafu. So the rightful Ahafu. Ahafu. So we are the rightful owners of this place. Now let me tell you a story about before this particular war that she talked about, when Nana Kodrajiman was captured. Now the Bonos are predominantly from the Diana clan of their Akans. They are Omumrani Edunana. So and then their symbol is Okramai Eja Ituanano. So when we say Okramai Eja Ituanano, it's a dog with you see that there's light or like there's this torch, a flamed torch on the mouth of the dog. So what does this symbolize? We are coming back to the symbols, but we just want to take a journey down memory lane, down history. Now, when it comes to civilization, one of the first things to ensure that civilization was in force was the origination of fire. Because fire would mean that you don't just take the food and you meat and you chew it raw. You don't just take fruits and you eat it raw, vegetables and you just mix them and eat them raw. It goes through some processing. And once processing comes in play, that means civilization actually began. So the originators, they were the real owners of the land that we have and we call Ghana now. That's why they are called Bono Ahafo.
Okay.
So these are the main originators of, but apart from that, and when you see the symbol that they have, Eduana, Edunana, and the Kramain. Kramain means loyalty. So you realize that the Bonos are known for their loyalty. Their loyalty and their allegiance that they pledge to their king. Besides that, the Eja, Etiana, I'm saying that fire symbolizes civilization. So the Bonos are one of the earliest civilized people in history when it comes to Africa and even the Gold Coast and Ghana, as we now call it. Now, take that away. Now we've known that they were civilized earlier. Once they were civilized earlier, that means they had gone ahead in terms of other Akan tribes. They had gone ahead in more than the Ashanti tribe. So the Ashanti, at the time, it was called the Jamaican Kingdom. The Bono Kingdom was called the Jamaican Kingdom. The Ashantis used to envy them because they had so much gold. They could treat water with fire. They had they had. I mean, they were a formidable force. So that wasn't the first time that Ashantis tried to get into the Bono Kingdom. My mom used to tell me stories that the Bonos originally are the only ones to have defeated the Ashantis and have an Ashanti king's skull, even at the Domahene's palace at the moment.
That explains certain things.
So this war, this rift between the Bonos and the Ashantis initially were born of greed and also to revenge what had happened before. So in the 1700s, particularly 1712 to 1718, there was the initial war between the Bono or the Jaman tribe and then the Ashanti tribe. Now, this particular war was called to order by other Akan tribes and families that came together. But later on in the 1800s, there was another rift. The disappointments and the scores weren't fully settled because you've killed a chief of ours before. Definitely, if it goes down the clans, by all means, once the chieftaincy falls within that particular family that you've killed before, they might actually come for revenge. And that's how it was. So they came back and then they fought the Bonos. And then Nana, that's in the 1800s. And then Nana Ajiman, Edinkra was captured. And that was when they saw these symbols on not only on his robes, but some were inked on his skin. So they even started tattooing in Ghana. Some were inked on his skin. Some were when you go to the palaces of the Jaman Kingdom, which they destroyed. But history taught us that some of them were used as symbols, even during times of war, during times of farmers go and then they implant some on certain trees to show that the harvest will be ready by this time. There are some that denote patience. So when you go and you realize that this particular tree has this particular symbol, you don't fell it, although it might be looking withered. In about 3 years' time, you see a symbol that denotes patience on the tree. About 3 years' time. So that's how the Bonos used to communicate. And then that has been imported into what we have now as the
so basically what we are establishing is
I don't know why as of now Nana is not a chief in the Bono Ahafo region, but that's a topic for
he's a chief in making. So very soon you hear from
I beg you.
So what I wanted to say that what we are trying to establish right now is that the Adinkra symbols actually came from the people of the Bono people.
The Bono people, the Jaman
people.
And so now the reason why it spread to Côte d'Ivoire was because the Bono it's only present day that we saw boundaries being drawn in terms of maps, and Ghana has a border between Cote d'Ivoire. But when you go from Zezera and you even cross to other parts, you realize that it's just like two villages, or it's just like communities divided by a border. They speak the same language, they eat the same food, they wear the same clothing. So it's like Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire had the same sort of how do you call it, inclination. Not to forget about the fact that when Ashantis were trying to throw out a certain certain group of the Ashantis were trying to run away from chieftaincy disputes. They were led by a certain woman called Abna Pokua. And then now they crossed a certain river called the Komori River. It's all part of the Bono history and then the Ashanti history. So you go to Ivory Coast and then you hear a place like Yamoussoukro. But when you realize Yamoussoukro, what does it mean? It's the actual origination is Yamansakro.
Oh, okay.
And then there is Queen Abna Poku. So you realize that they even have a song about her. She was the one who was leading her tribesmen away from some clans in the Ashanti Kingdom. And then when they reached the river, she had to give her only child as a sacrifice for the river gods to be able to allow them to cross. Wow. So the place where she gave the sacrifice and the child crossed, that place is called Baule. Baule now. But in those times, it was called Ehana ne Banuye. Ehana ne Banuye. So Ehana ne Banuye no. Then now, because of language and then modernization and sometimes information asymmetry, the names can actually change. And now that place is called the Baule along the Komori River. Wow. So these are a lot of history stories surrounding the grass symbols that when we go into it, we'll be having...
I still think Nana should be a chief.
Oh no, I just love our culture, particularly the Bono region, because I trace my roots there as well, and it is something that I really embrace and I really love. So it's something really special for me.
But our time is fast.
So I didn't even mention the symbols.
So just let me give you 1 minute to talk about the symbol.
Okay, because I've talked about the account symbols.
Yes.
No, if you leave Nana can talk the whole day.
Oh, 1 minute.
1 minute.
1 minute.
Yes.
So I'll actually take this particular one in Ghana, which talks about the lion and the eagle. It's called Jatake Okropon. I'm sure the picture will be on the screen at the moment. This is taken from the gas symbols by Dr. Richard Afutukote, who is one of who is the pioneer of gas symbols. We have Akan Idinkra symbols, but the Ga Idinkra symbols or the Ga Sabla symbols are what we have to talk about. It's Jatake Okropon, if it can be displayed on the screen.
Producer, can
so
you
it says that
display the image on the screen for us?
Domomoshi Jatamiba. Okropon Dumomoshi Jatamiba. So I'm going to read what it says. It says, Eagles, stay put. The lion is on its way. That's it. Eagle, stay put. The lion is on its way. So this one says that the eagle is the king of the skies. Sometimes it has to trespass on land for food. The land is also the kingdom of the mighty lion. The eagle is therefore being advised to know its limitations on land. It would therefore be in its interest to avoid any confrontation with the lion. What is this trying to say? We all have weaknesses and vulnerabilities. Even the strong and powerful are no exception to this particular one. So what it's trying to tell you is that avoid danger if you can. This is the Ga Sabla.
Simple.
That
avoid danger if you
can. It means avoid danger if you can.
If you can.
Okropon domomoshi jata meiba.
Okropon domomoshi jata meiba.
Jata meiba.
Jata meiba.
Yes.
Avoid danger if...
Eagle, stand well or stay put. Well. The lion is approaching.
Today, Nana has taken us down memory lane. We've learned a whole lot. The origination of the Adinkra symbols, the Bono region, and they're relating to the people of Cote d'Ivoire and a whole lot. And so I know you've learned a lot, but our time is fast spent, and so we will continue this around 9. So stick and stay with us. This has been the online print paper review with me, Peter Insia, and with my co-hosts Nanaya Asari and Na Jebia. Up next is the lifestyle segment. Please stay with us.
Hello, good morning to you, our cherished viewers, and you're welcome to the Koko Digest Morning Show. My name is Honorable Bevan Ejebia, but since you're in the Ghana month, you can call me Nana Ama Ejebia. And today we're having a very, very interesting conversation. Our guest is someone who is very, familiar on the show. We'll be talking about oral hygiene back then. And then now, we had a similar conversation the other time, but today we are just going to, have an in-depth, conversation today as well. And we have here Dr. Felix Govina from New Vision Clinic, helping us, process the whole conversation this morning. So when you're leaving the comfort of your homes, don't forget that we are streaming on Facebook and YouTube as well. You can, get connected and interactive with us there as well. Welcome, Doc. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Nama. Thank you for having me back in your studio today.
Yeah,
once again.
It's a pleasure having you.
To talk about oral health.
Right.
Yes. I think before we start, let me take this opportunity to inform the Ghanaian public that March it's Oral Health Month.
Right. I was coming to talk to you about that.
Yes, and tomorrow, 20th of March, is the World WHO Oral Health Day. It's going to be a big event. If you follow the media tomorrow, you will see all across the country activities in line with the celebration of Oral Health Day. And I want to also take the opportunity to inform Ghanaian public that New Vision Dental Clinic, as part of giving back to our community or societies that we serve, we are actually doing a free checkup. You don't pay. You can walk into any of the branches and have your mouth checked. If there's any issues, you'll be well informed and you'll be aware of what is happening in your mouth. And we have 3 branches in Accra. We have ACP Estate Junction, School Junction at Shaliboche, and then North Legon at Boba. You can walk to any of those clinics and have your mouth checked free of charge.
Are you saying that we should come without any money?
Nothing at all. No registration, no consultation. Just walk in and have your mouth checked up.
Right. So since you mentioned, I was coming to talk about the World Oral Hygiene Day at the later part of the conversation, but since you brought it up, why do we need to celebrate such a day like this? Why is it necessary for Ghanaians to celebrate or participate in this?
It is necessary because oral diseases are preventable. How do you prevent something if you don't know, or the awareness is not created for you to know the do's and don'ts about your teeth? Just as we celebrate October as Breast Cancer Month and all that, oral health is also put on the spot during the month of March, and specifically on 20th of every March of every year. World Health Organization celebrate that day, or that day is purely devoted for the celebration of oral health. To put oral health on the spotlight for policymakers to formulate policy towards prevention and prevention of oral diseases, and also put up policies in order to care or provide services, create access for the public to be able to access oral health. Treatment of oral conditions.
All right. So to all of you out there who don't know the essence of the celebration of the World Oral Hygiene or Health Day, this is the reason why we celebrate this. But then, Doc, when you talk about dental care and then oral hygiene, I know they're kind of intertwined. What should we prioritize? Should we prioritize one or the other, or they are all equally important?
They are just semantics. Oral health, dental care. When we talk of dental, people just focus on the teeth. But when we are talking about oral health, we are talking about the whole mouth.
Right.
That comprises of your tongue, your cheek, your gums, and all that. So when we talk of oral health, you are making sure your teeth are taken care of. You are making sure your tongue is taken care of. Your gums are taken care of.
Right.
So basically, it's just semantics, but they're all just focusing in structures in the oral cavity.
Right. So if I got you correctly, when you talk about dental care, we are probably talking about just the teeth. We are learning about the teeth. But when you talk about the oral care, we are talking in general. If I got you correctly.
Maybe we can accept it like that for purposes of clarity.
Right.
Dental health care, it's oral health care. Oral health care is dental healthcare.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I would like us to, travel back memory lane. So, the days where people were using, the takocha. I don't know if it can be displayed on the screen so that we get a conversation started. So then, before the show, I would like us to talk about, some of the practices our grandfathers, great-grandfathers were doing to protect their teeth, and how effective were they in those times? You can talk to us about it.
So basically, taking care of the teeth, it's making sure you don't accumulate dirt around the teeth, making sure you are cleaning them, and cleaning methods, as you said, back in the days, our parents and some of us, the older generation, were using more of chewing stick or sponge to clean our teeth. Now, the aim is what? Is to clean the dirt on your teeth. When you use sponge or chewing stick, you can imagine chewing a hard stuff to make it, to create that spongy aspect of it to clean.
I think they are displaying it.
Okay, so if you have to clean your teeth using sponge, it means you have to chew it to a certain level and take your time to clean around all your teeth. Imagine your back teeth.
Which means a lot of time.
You need a lot of time to be able to do that.
Right.
Now and again, when you compare that to the paste, the paste has certain ingredients which the sponges or the chewing sticks don't have. One of the components of toothpaste is fluoride.
Right.
Fluoride helps to strengthen the teeth. This chewing stick and sponges don't have that. They would, because you use some force to clean the teeth, they will remove those stains on the teeth. Yeah. But they may not end up strengthening your teeth. The only advantage of this is whilst you are chewing it, there's increased salivary flow. You produce a lot of saliva. And saliva in itself is healthy. It also helps strengthen the teeth. So that is the positive side of chewing the sticks. The other downside of chewing stick is it ends up what we call attrition. It's like wearing away of the topmost layer, the enamel portion of your teeth. This is the strongest part of your teeth. Now, when you are chewing this hard stuff, grinding on it over the period, you may end up wearing the portion of it, and you may be getting closer to where the nerves are. So that's the downside. But all in all, those days, it helps. But God, in his own wisdom, created the knowledge and the technology for us to advance in whatever we go through in life. So you can see in the market a lot of toothpaste available and affordable for us to use to clean our teeth.
Well, we've also seen that apart from the chewing stick and then the sponge, we've also seen where people used to use charcoal. How are they doing that? Charcoal and then the use of some
baking powder. Yes. Yeah, so let's talk about the charcoal and the baking powder. Now, as we can see, raw charcoal is abrasive. It's rough. Yeah. So when you use it to clean the teeth, it will remove. Charcoal also has the property of absorbing stains.
Okay.
So when you use it on the teeth, it will absorb some of the stains, and also because of the abrasive nature of it, it will clean in it because it's rough. So you are using it on the teeth, so it will remove some of your stain, and then the property of absorbing some of the coloring effects on the teeth. So that aspect, you can say you want to use, but the disadvantage of using charcoal is it doesn't have fluoride in it.
Okay.
Yes, it doesn't have fluoride in it. It is also harmful. If you overuse it, it will cause, again, the erosion of your enamel, and then you end up pushing your gum away from the tooth and end up having what we call gum recession. Your gum tends to shrink down away from the neck of the tooth. So it's going to be harsh on the tooth and end up eroding the hardest portion of the tooth that we call the enamel. Now, when you come to baking powder again, baking with sodium.
So what's the difference between the baking powder and the baking soda? Is it the same thing?
They are all sodium hypochlorite chemicals.
Okay.
So what it also does is it's also abrasive in nature. And one of the mechanism of cavity formation is acid in the mouth, softening your enamel. Then cavitation starts. Baking soda is basic. So the use of it tend to neutralize whatever acid in your mouth to prevent that level of cavity formation if you look at the genesis of cavity formation. But again, baking soda can be harsh on the gums. If used frequently, can cause erosion of your enamel. Again, baking soda has also got fluoride in it. So you are not going to strengthen your teeth. As we always recommend, use paste with fluoride. Those agents or whatever, they don't have fluoride in them. So they will not help strengthen your teeth. They rather will end up eroding the hardest portion of your teeth, what we call the enamel.
It's quite interesting, especially for the fact that we didn't have, the modern technologies to upgrade ourselves then, but people still, find it important to get their teeth clean. We would like to find out, in your view, how or why has a clean smile always been valued in the Ghanaian society? Because I remember growing up, when you wake up from bed, the first thing they tell you is to go and brush your teeth.
Yes.
And then you get pissed because you've seen the Awuza or the Koko woman frying that kara. You want to pass there, but no, your mother is telling you that go and brush your teeth. Why have you valued, oral hygiene over the years?
Basically, taking care of your teeth is brushing twice in a day. As we've always talked about, brushing twice and then the last thing before you get to bed. Brushing 2 minutes when you are brushing and then seeing your dentist regularly. That's twice in a year. That's the regime. I mean, if you want to maintain a good oral hygiene practices. So that is why the first thing in the morning you wake up, your parents will ask you to go and brush your teeth. So basically, that is the reason why we put premium on brushing your teeth first thing in the morning. Again, what happens is over the night, when you sleep, your saliva is not circulating.
Okay.
It's kind of pulled up in your mouth. That is why your early morning saliva is a little, has certain level of scent. Because over the night, you are not talking, you are just sleeping.
Yeah.
So it pulls up, it becomes stagnant in your mouth. So when you wake up, you need to brush and refreshen your mouth and fresh saliva start flowing and then perform whatever it's supposed to perform.
Because of your submission, let me just ask this question. So is it right or is it not right? Or should we practice, talking like a lot? Because I don't know why people can
So if one of the things we recommend of people who comes with a complaint of bad breath, it's like bad breath has real bad breath and psychological bad breath. Some people, the first thing in the morning, that one day they wake up and they realize that their saliva has a foul scent. It kind of psychologically become imprinted in their mind. So they go to work, they feel like this morning is like when I notice my odor, my mouth odor is bad. So they go to office and they get glued to their computer. Somebody come to them and he talks, it's like, they don't talk. If you don't talk, saliva doesn't circulate very well. And the more it gets stagnated in your mouth, the more when you open, the gas that may come out will be foul. So it is good to interact and talk, because the more you talk, the more fresh saliva comes into your mouth. And then it's kind of looking fresh, and then you may not have that foul smell in your mouth. That's why sometimes people with bad breath, we recommend sipping of water frequently or chewing of sugarless gum to refresh your saliva in your mouth.
But does brushing twice daily, like in the morning when you wake up, in the evening when you're about to sleep, for the number of hours that you're going to be closing your mouth, does brushing twice have a role to play in reducing bad breath?
Yes, because it's part of all the things that you need to do to keep good oral hygiene. So brushing last thing before you go to bed would also help reduce bad breath. And we are also saying brush before you get to bed, because when you don't brush, the food particles, just imagine you take your toffees as the last thing before you get to bed. You are providing the substrate for the germs in the mouth to digest and produce acid. And that acid stays in your mouth for a longer period before you wake up in the morning. And the longer the acid stays on your teeth, the likelihood of they softening your enamel and then cavity formation starts.
Right. So, Dr. Felix, we would like to find out, back in the days where people go extremely using baking soda and then some herbal to clean their teeth, would you say they were more disciplined as compared to now?
It's what I would say is lack of knowledge or unavailability of the means to clean your teeth. Okay. You see, those days, you don't see variety of paste in the market. That's why those days Pepsodent was the commonest we see, and everybody called paste Pepsodent. It's just because they have no other means to clean their teeth than to resort to these mechanisms. Okay. Yes.
Right. So we'd like to find out what factors contribute to this shift from traditional practices to modern dental care. Like, at what point did they realize that no, we have to start, or we have to transition?
Yes. So the idea of old practice and modern practice, I would say it's development in life.
Okay.
Yes, it's development in life, because what is available is what you use at a point in time in your life. Those days, the technology has not developed to this level.
Okay.
So all they can do is to resort to whatever they can do to solve the problem. Like I said, how many different types of paste do we see on the shelves those days? I mean, very few. Then again, affordability. So you go and uproot this tree and just use the roots to clean your teeth. Again, when it comes to dentistry is technologically driven. It's digital, it's IT. The kind of level that dentistry has reached these days, it's all IT. Those days, if you have to diagnose the cavity, to what depth is this cavity, you have to go through very rudimental steps. But these days, with technology, you can determine where this hole in this tooth is. The distance between that hole and your nerve, you can predict it. And you can predict the outcome of your treatment. Those days is difficult.
Yeah.
But these days, you can even construct your whole smile. We can put your face in the computer. If we have to provide you artificial teeth, we can put your whole face in the computer and reconstruct it and design the smile before we fabricate the appliance. But those days, you can't do it.
Yeah. Doc, from your view, do you think Ghanaians now practice proper, hygiene, oral hygiene now?
Because I'm a public health person, let me go into the public health aspect of it a little bit. Now, dental diseases tend to affect the vulnerable and the disadvantaged population in all societies. So when you come to Ghana, for instance, the distribution of dental services is concentrated in the south, in the urban centers.
Can we know why?
It's again because the practice is technologically driven. You need certain facilities that you may not find in rural areas, like the power, the water, and all those things. So because of that, when you look at our dentist to population ratio, in Accra, Kumasi, Takoradi, almost 80% of dentists in Ghana are located in these areas. And the rural areas poorly neglected. But the disease burden is over there. The affluent can afford for the expensive treatment in our cities, but those living in the rural areas are more or less, I won't use the word neglected, but cut off. Access to dental services become limited to them. And that is the reason why, even if we are talking about this old practice of using stick and sponge, it's more or less still going on in those rural communities. As against when you come to the cities, Accra, everybody wakes up, you see the person brushing with paste and all that. So basically, it is the dentist population ratio distribution. I would not say the awareness is uniform across board.
Right.
In Accra and in the cities of the distribution, people are practicing oral health practices. It's improving remarkably as against those in very far remote areas. Because in the cities you have access to all this social media, everything is bubbling and people see what is going on and people are following the trend. So the awareness it's there. Though it's not enough, we need to create more. It's improving.
So what would you say is the gap when it comes to oral hygiene in Ghana? What has been the challenge?
The challenge is financial. From government to even the private. To set up a state-of-the-art dental clinic, you may not spend less than 1 million cedis. To get all the equipment, you get your panoramic x-rays, what we call OPG, setting up in a very pristine area, you will spend no less than 1 million cedis. It's the same way if government want to set up in the district. It's the same financial challenges and human resource. So you see clinics just being in the major cities in Ghana. Basically, the main trouble is financial.
Right. Doctor, we have like limited time today too, but then we would like you to help us, take us through, the brushing of the teeth, the right or the appropriate way we should, especially in celebration of the World Oral Day, so that people can have a feel of how it is. So if you can get like a demonstration.
Okay. So as usual, this is our popular oral cavity or the mouth.
Right.
Yes. And what we...
I don't know if it can be zoomed, so okay, sure.
So we have our upper jaw and then we have our lower jaw.
Right.
So if we are going to start with the upper jaw as individuals, angle the brush 45 degrees and then you sweep down like that. Don't go back and forth, what we call horizontal scrubbing of your teeth. When you do that, a time will come, you realize that you have cavities between the gum and the tooth. What we call abrasive cavities or cervical cavities. So we always advise for you to angle your brush 45 degrees. So in this way, you are going to come this, but because of the camera, so you are sweeping. And when you do this, you are going also in between your teeth. And make sure when you brush your tongue. And then brushing goes with flossing as well. When we are talking of good oral hygiene practices, is brushing and flossing in between your teeth. It's also highly recommended.
Right.
And so when you brush your tongue as well.
For the lay people out there, when we talk about flossing, we'd like you to take us through.
Yes. So flossing is this thread that is also purposely made to be wriggled in between the teeth. You take your time and then you snag it in between. And then if you want to floss in between, you push it against one of the teeth. And then you pull it out. It will remove food debris that are stuck in between your teeth. So
you do that after brushing the teeth or before you brush the teeth?
You do it after brushing. And flossing can be done any day, any time, particularly after eating.
Right.
We don't encourage you to use toothpick. Toothpick damages the gum. And the moment you start using toothpick and your gums start bleeding, that is when you still be getting more food stacking in between your teeth. And each time you eat, you want to use toothpick to remove it. It becomes a vicious cycle. And the more you do it, the more you traumatize the gum. And then the fibers holding your teeth in the bone become affected. And then you develop pockets around your teeth.
Right. So if I got it correctly, you are saying we should not use toothpick
as much as possible. Avoid using.
This is the first time I'm hearing this,
toothpick,
and I hope people are listening as well. Yes. And then, doctor, how many times? I know we've talked about this, but I'd like to ask again. How many times should we brush our teeth? How many times?
Yes.
Because people say they brush their teeth once and then they are okay because they know their teeth is white. They are okay.
Brushing doesn't make your teeth white.
Okay.
Brushing removes the stains on your teeth, the food debris around your teeth. Of course, if you have a stain on your teeth and it's soft and the brush removes it, it will presumably make your teeth white. But it is not changing the color, original color of your teeth. It removes the stains and food debris around your teeth. If this food debris stays around your teeth, they cause gum inflammations. Over the period, the ions in the saliva settle, dries together with this food debris and the germs in your mouth to form those yellow, greenish things that forms around our teeth and then become so hardened that you have to really see a dentist to do what we call scaling and polishing. So basically, brushing is a must. You must brush morning and evening. Evening, we always say last thing before you get to bed.
Right, and I've also heard this thing that you take breakfast before you brush your teeth, or you brush your teeth before you take breakfast. So since the doctor is here, we'd like to find out from him.
Usually, what the idea behind that is just that when you brush before you take your food in the morning, assuming you have taken these refined sugars, you see, we are just trying to avoid acid accumulating in the mouth. So when you brush before you eat your breakfast and you eat this sweet, germs in the mouth will digest on it and produce acid that will stay on your teeth. So the notion is, why don't I take my breakfast after my breakfast before I brush, so that whatever sweet I've taken would have been brushed away. That's just so the question is, as a professional, what would I recommend?
Okay.
My choice is you brush in the morning, first thing when you wake up.
Right.
When you take your breakfast, the breakfast comes with water. You finish breakfast, you drink water, you gargle with water, all those acid will be neutralized, all those particles would be gone. Again, we say twice in a day. It doesn't mean that you cannot brush in between these two recommendations. You may find yourself eating something, lunch, heavy something, and you see that, no, this it's laden with so much sweet and all. You can brush. You can brush.
Because I happen to use public transport a lot, and sometimes the bad breath from people, I don't know, but I feel like instead of them brushing when they wake up in the morning, some even go to the extent of using a chewing gum, the minty ones, in place. Is that a good oral practice?
That is not, because brushing of your teeth is brushing of your teeth.
Right.
The early morning when you wake up, the reason why most people recommend you brushing even before taking breakfast is because you wake up with a saliva that is, let me quote unquote, dirty in your mouth. So you want to go and brush and refresh your mouth before you even eat, swallow anything and all that. So not brushing and taking these minting gums to chew is not a proper way. It will not be recommended as a proper way of ensuring good oral hygiene practices.
Right. And I've seen a new trend on social media. This is the last question. My producer is after my life. So I've seen a trend where they say when you brush your teeth, you're supposed to leave the toothpaste to take some few minutes before you rinse. I'd like you to talk to us
basically,
about that.
again, we are still targeting the acid that is from. Don't forget, we said use paste that contain fluoride. Fluoride helps to strengthen your teeth. So leaving the foam after brushing is just to target the period through which that fluoride in the paste lasts on your teeth. But it's not something that is recommended so much that after brushing you don't rinse out and then you leave the foam in your mouth for how long? So I would not recommend that brush and leave the foam in your mouth. There are certain situations where you have sensitivity. And then we recommend a paste that is meant for sensitive teeth.
Okay.
When we recommend such a paste for you, we may ask you to leave the foam on your teeth for a certain period of time. That is targeting, specific recommendation.
Right.
But the normal routine brushing, when you brush, you rinse your mouth, you rinse out.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. So as we celebrate the World Oral Health Day, what was your final message as a professional dentist towards Ghanaians?
My final giveaway.
I don't know if you can look into the camera.
My final giveaway to the public is to advise the public to ensure they take their oral health seriously. Oral health is part of your general health. It's part of your general well-being. If you have poor oral architecture, your smile is going to be affected, your confidence is going to be affected, your social life is going to be affected.
Right.
And also ensure that when you have anything that has to be done on your tooth or your teeth, look for a certified, recognized dental clinic. There are so much things going on social media where people are throwing out all kinds of things in terms of tooth whitening, fashion braces, and all that. Please, 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 they are not trained to take care of your teeth. They are not health professionals. They are not dentists. Avoid going to the spa, going to the salons for people to be working on your teeth. They are not even certified to do those things. They end up damaging your gums, damaging your teeth, and they end up coming back to us in our dental clinics. Cheap things are expensive at the end of the day. They put all these things on social media with ridiculously low prices to entice you to come. But they are misleading you to a dangerous position or situation. Avoid going to these quacks. If you have anything that has to be done on your teeth, look for a certified dental clinic and have a professional.
I just hope and our audiences are following us and they've tuned the volume of their sets and they are listening to this very
the last point is very if you have anything that has to be done on your teeth, look for a certified professional dentist, a dental clinic, and have your dental care taken care of. Right.
So thank you so much, Dr. Felix Governor, for being with us in the studio. This has been a very, essential conversation. And you can follow them on their socials, New Vision Dental Clinic, all over social media. And you can follow them, when you want to visit their hospital for, some health tips. So don't go to their quacks. And I think I would like to take some birthday messages.
I heard today was your birthday.
So this is from Peter and it says that happy glorious birthday to you, sweetie Joanna. On this special day, I pray that God blesses your new age with endless joy, peace, and favor. May your light continue to shine brighter and may all your dreams come through. Keep being the amazing person you are. God bless you always. And this is from Peter, a presenter here at Clock TV. Happy birthday to you, Joanne. And this is how we wrap up for Lifestyle on the Koko Digest Morning Show. My name is Annabelle Bedwin Jabia. Next is Sports with Benedict in Ketia. Do stay with us.
Nice use.
Hello, lovely viewers. Good morning once again, and welcome to the Sports Update segment in your favorite morning show, the Koko Digest Morning Show. Yes, of course, this is the Sports Update segment, and I'm your host for today, Nana Kofi Inketia. Here we bring you nothing but the best in the world of sports, and we are covering all the action, both local and international. And this morning, I wish my colleague James was here with me. Unfortunately, due to one of two reasons, he can't be here with me. But then let me just do justice to our stories for today. First of all, we have a story that has to do with the AFCON that happened just recently, 2 months ago, where Senegal held they won the trophy against Morocco, finals against Morocco. Unfortunately, yesterday we got some news from CAF. That is because Morocco had to present some arguments, some cases to CAF over the title winning by Senegal. So our first story for today is Senegal had to CAS over controversial AFCON title decision. Yes, so unfortunately, like I said earlier, we had Senegal winning the trophy after the tournament went to an end. Senegal scoring a goal, Papa Gueye scoring a goal in the dire minutes to win the trophy against Morocco. But then Morocco presented a case to CAF because Senegal walked off the pitch for some minutes. That is 15 minutes. I know yesterday my colleagues for the sports update, Clock Sports, did justice to this story. But then this is a press release by the Senegalese Football Association, after they presented their case to CAF. So briefly, the Senegalese Football Federation has taken notes today of the notification of the decision rendered on March 17, 2026 by the Board of Confederation of African Football. In a nutshell, it's just to rebut or fight against the decision by the Confederation of African Football to relinquish their trophy and take off the trophy from Senegal and give it to Morocco, because apparently, according to the decision made by CAF, the Senegalese national team walked off the pitch, and then after doing that, under the law, the Constitution, Football Association, Morocco is supposed to win the trophy by 3-0. So in other words, Senegal, they forfeited the trophy. So yes, Teranga Lions, they won 1-0 during the extra time, like I said earlier. Unfortunately, due to this decision, they are taking the trophy from Senegal to Morocco. It's quite controversial because there's a lot of do's and don'ts. There's a lot of rules that is regarding these kind of topics in football. We all know football is won on the pitch, but then again, there are rules regarding these things. So yes, Senegal is heading to CAS to present their case and hopefully see this overturned, seeing this decision by CAF overturned, and then hopefully, so that is the Court of Arbitration of Sport, Court of Arbitration for Sport. That's CAS. They are sending their petition to CAS to see if they can give them back their AFCON title, the 2025 AFCON title. It's quite controversial, like I said earlier, but this is just a brief story about what really happened. We can't really go deep because we don't know the outcome yet. Now CAF insists that Senegal returns the trophy, the AFCON 2025 AFCON, back to CAF so that they can give it to Morocco. Then Moroccans too are expecting the trophy. Senegalese, they are going to protest this decision and all. But then let me just move on to our next story for today. So our second story for today is GOC board leads by example with donation to Ghana Sports Fund. Yes, so this is good news for Ghana Sports Fund. The board of committees of the Ghana Olympic Committee, they have pledged their support for the newly established Ghana Sports Fund, presenting a personal donation during a meeting with the Minister of Sports and Recreation, Kofi Idi Adams, at the Olympic House in Accra. So yes, the leader of Ghana Olympic Committee, President Richard Apokavi, sorry if I got the name wrong, has emphasized the importance of the collective responsibility in sustaining sports development. This by doing so, because of this, he and his team, they presented a token, a check to develop, to help develop sports. To help develop sports, and of course to help build or control the Ghana Sports Fund in whatever way they deem fit. So yes, this is interesting. This is also very good because it's going to help finance the activities of Ghana Sports Fund, and whatever they need is going to help do more things than expected. So we thank you very much for GOC for investing in Ghana Sports Fund and whatever that we have going on. Let me move on to our last story for today, and then if you know what is happening, like it was said earlier during the introduction, where we spoke about the sports and what we are going to talk about today. Yes, over the week, on Tuesday and on Wednesday, we had some games that went on. Yes, the Champions League, UEFA Champions League. And if you've been following sports, a lot has been happening. Last week, we had the first leg that was played, and there were some upsets in most of the games that were played. We saw, the so-called Intensity League. I call them so-called Intensity League because they are not as intensified as they think they are. Yes, they were losing. They were on the losing streak, and then we're hoping that this week they're going to come back. But then yesterday, that is the result on our screen. Yesterday's game that happened. The first game happened between my very own, the best team in the whole wide world, the FC Barcelona against Newcastle, where they played 1-1 during the first leg, and then of course they came back to the Camp Nou, the Estadio Camp Nou, the new camp, the biggest stadium in the whole world. Of course, it's going to be the eighth wonder after it is constructed. So yes, Newcastle came very strong. They were playing. Barcelona will score and then they will equalize. So at a point it was 2-2, and then you could tell that most of the Barcelona fans, were worried because of what was happening. But then those of us who know our team, who know our boys, who know the Camp Nou, we know what is happening. And of course, at the end of the 90 minutes, Barcelona won by 7-2. Thrashing 8-3 on aggregate. It's quite sad for the Intensity League people. The people from the Intensity League who are always boasting. We don't really know what they think makes them an Intensity League or the physical league. But then, of course, thrashing 8-3. We'll move on to our next game. That was Bayern Munich versus Atalanta. It was one-sided. This game was one-sided. At the end of the game, the aggregate was 10-2, 4-1 during the second leg, and in the first game, it was 6-1, and then at the end of the game, we had 10-2. So yes, Bayern Munich has qualified for the semi-finals. We have Liverpool during the first leg played 1-1 against Galatasaray, and then we're hoping that 1-0. Galatasaray was leading by 1-0 against Liverpool, and we're thinking, the Intensity League, they were going to lose out, but then Liverpool came out strongly. They are experienced, so we knew they were going to do better than they did away to Galatasaray. So they won by 4-0 on aggregate, 4-1 against Galatasaray. So Liverpool is through. And then, of course, Tottenham Hotspur's face Atletico de Madrid. Yes, another game between an Intensity League and then a supposedly Farmers League team, that is the Spanish team. And then, of course, the Spanish team came out victorious at the end of the aggregate. Yes, Tottenham Hotspur won by 3-2, but at the end of the game, the aggregate was 5-7 in favor of Atletico de Madrid. Yes, and then our results for on Tuesday, Sporting CP against Bodo Glimt, where Sporting CP won by 5-0 on aggregate. Sporting CP qualifying. Arsenal, yes, the league leaders for the Intensity League people. Yes, so Arsenal won by 2-0. The first leg was 1-1, and then aggregate they won by 3-1. And then Chelsea, yes, the Blues, the world champions. Yes, they're self-acclaimed world champions because they won one trophy. We couldn't get enough of them. Yes, and they lost to PSG by 3-0 during the second leg of the competition. And at the end of the game, the aggregate was 8-2 against the world champions 8-2. It's sad because these teams, these intensity league people, we can't get enough of them, and we're hoping that they're going to do something better because of their acclaim. They are claiming to be intensity league. But yes, we saw the results of it. And then, yes, Real Madrid against Manchester City, another intensity league versus Real Madrid. And then intensity league, of course, Manchester City lost by 2-1 at the end of the game, and aggregate 5-1 against Manchester City. So at this point, when we're starting the tournament, we had about 6 EPL teams competing, and at this point, most of them are out. We only have Arsenal and Liverpool competing on behalf of the Farmers League, and we have the top 3 of the Spanish League. We have FC Barcelona, we have Real Madrid, and we have Atletico de Madrid also competing. We still have Sporting CP competing, and we have Bayern Munich also competing. So yes, we move on to the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League competition, and hopefully next 2 weeks after the international break, next 3 weeks, we'll bring you action on the sports in the UEFA Champions League during the sports update segment. Thank you very much, viewers. This is it for the sports update segment. My name, as always, Nana Kofi Nketia. Next is the business segment with Kojo Insia.
Hello there, good morning to you and welcome to the Business Update segment right here on Clock TV. I am your host, Peter Kojo Ntia. Today we are discussing a very important national issue, even though it is happening about 1,000 miles away from us, but it actually concerns us. We are talking about the Middle East crisis and the implication on Ghana's economy. I hope if you could remember when this crisis started, the Minister of Energy actually engaged the gurus in the petroleum sector to find out the way forward. And that is where MPA told us that we have fuel in stock, which can actually take us through 5 to 6 months. Apart from that, too, the MPA boss has been speaking that if the tension persists, there would have to be a high-level engagement, and that would involve the president. But before that, they are looking at if the crude oil, the world market price, if it goes beyond $120 per barrel, that is when that high level of engagement would actually go on. And then in that same issue, MPA also revised its fuel price floors, and that actually affected prices at the pump. OMC's oil marketing companies adopted that. And then as we speak today, the 19th of March, when you go to the global market, Brent fuel is actually, hovering around $102 to $113 per barrel. And then currently in Ghana too, fuel prices have actually surged. And so today we are looking at the possible implications on Ghana's economy as large. We are not looking at only the prices of fuel, but the implication on the economy at large. We'll be looking at inflation, we'll be looking at the cost that will bring to businesses, we'll be looking at, the economy at large, how it is going to impact the economy, and also to the ordinary Ghanaian as well, how it is going to affect your pocket. And so joining me for this imperative discussion is a financial analyst, Mr. Martin Ohene Enim. Good morning, sir, and welcome to the Business.
Thank you for having me.
It's always a pleasure to have you. Good morning.
Sure.
Right.
Thank you.
And I'm sure you are aware of what is happening currently in the Middle East. Like I said, even though it is far away from us, but we are experiencing it. How significant is this tension to an economy like Ghana? Should we be concerned?
Why not? Definitely. We operate in a global economy. Particularly our economy in terms of its structure, we are net importer of refined petroleum products, but rather, and in terms of the crude, we are net exporters of that product. But the conversation we are having is in respect of both. In terms of crude oil, it means that we can earn more from that perspective because commodity international prices in respect of crude has picked up. So if we export, we earn more. But
so basically, it's not that we are going to lose. We're actually benefiting in a way.
We'll benefit, but the net effect will be the case that will suffer more than the gain. Because what the impact on the crude side is more revenue generation. But in terms of the refined product that we import into the economy, what will it exacerbate? As you already, we already have the effect already. Pump prices have skyrocketed, and there are even conversations by transport unions to begin to see a review in their transport fares and all that. So that will have a cascading effect on cost of production, and even moving items from the farm gates to the production centers of the market areas where they are sold. So there's a possible effect on inflation. And that yesterday MPC meeting by the Bank of Ghana, they recognized that. So I was worried, I was surprised they actually reduced their monetary policy rate from 15.5% to 14%. The expectation is that monetary policy takes some time to transmit through the channels to have impact. So when you foresee an inflationary pressure coming from this geopolitical risks, you then set a rate to be able to mitigate the future impact. So definitely in terms of inflation, which we already see, inflation is just the increase in general prices of items. We are seeing that on fuel prices. That may also lead to an increase in cost of production by the firms and individuals. Their disposable income now, even though we're the same, but the quantity of fuel they will buy now will have to reduce, right? Because they will have to spend more on fuel that they would ordinarily have spent on, if not for this war. So indeed, both on the individual, at the firm level, at the individual level, at the firm level, and the government side, government will earn through the revenues from the sale of the crude. However, the global impact on the economy is very evident, and we should know that we are running a global economy. And so, what happens in any economy, to the extent that you trade in commodities that are fall within those sub-regions, then the impact on that will affect the Ghanaian economy. So, for us as policy analysts and financial analysts, this will impact the stabilization agenda that the Ghanaian economy has witnessed from 2024 coming down. The stabilization effort that we have been on, this may have an impact on that, and policy makers must begin to look at how they tweak their policies to be able to address this issue. I'm happy MP have set a threshold that from that rate they begin to engage the president on how to mitigate the impact, because from a review and continual review of the development over there, it is becoming evident that the issue will not end now. So Ghana into the short term should be ready for some inflationary pressures coming up from the petroleum side that may impact other variables like cost of production for companies. Their cost of inputs will become more expensive. Another consequence is that there will be, because the prices are increasing, what will happen is that the demand of forests will increase from the BDCs. The BDCs are the ones that import the products into the country, and the OMCs are the ones that have filling stations across, like the Girls, like the Stars, right? But the BDCs import down. They use foreign exchange dollars to import the product. Now, so if the prices of the items increase, and as it is now, it means that the volume of dollars that they will need to be able to buy the same volume of quantity they were buying in the past will now be more. And if that happens, that will exert pressure on the cedi and cause the cedi to have some marginal depreciation, right? So the cedi conversation it may impact it. Now, looking at this, another consequence that may happen is that because inflation, the central bank, its primary objective is to achieve price stability. The moment they see that the prices are increasing, now they will reverse the continuous reduction of the monetary policy rate, and then we now begin to hike it to address the possible inflationary pressures that may arise due to the increase in these fuel prices. And when that happens, the good fortunes that we have been achieving, where interest rates are going down, now will be reversed, because one of the critical components in the determination of the Ghana reference rate, which feeds into the interest rate component, is the monetary policy rate, right? So the moment inflation turn around to become increasing, then policy makers such as the central bank might sit down to begin to hike the policy, even though that shock is a supply issue. It's coming from the distraction in the supply chain, right? It's a supply issue. You don't want to, and central bank normally address inflation from the demand side, but you don't want demand to come and meet supply challenges. So what you do is that you still continue to hike the policy rate to address those challenges. So we should the next MPC meeting, what the expectation across analysts, the expectation is that definitely there will be an increase in the policy rate. So I was disappointed. I was surprised, not disappointed. I was surprised that on the face of the development that we are seeing, I think they are making the decision on the fact that inflation rate has reduced to 3.3%. But that is not what it is about. We should look at the monetary policy does not tackle historical inflation. What it seeks to address is to see the short to medium term inflationary trends, and using the policy to transmit through the channels to address those issues. Also, definitely on the growth side, there may be a challenge if this issue continue, and our GDP growth rate will not see the kind of expansion that we may want to see on the part of inflation, with the inflation trends that we have seen over the period, that it may reverse in terms of the exchange rate. We see some pressure on the dollar, causing a marginal depreciation on the part of the city,
sure.
and that those may distract. Cost of living may become very high because items that has transportation embedded in them will cause those prices to increase. Are you getting the point? And those are the things. If also we see some depreciation, then imports become expensive because the trader will input that thing in the determination of the cost that he may sell to us as a Ghanaian. So our prayer is that those external shocks or exogenous shocks will not come and have. If evident that but we should have the buffer, the shocks. That's why I'm happy that we have about 5.8 months import cover, so that if there's the need for forex, we can cushion come in, and the global conversation can help us rake in more foreign exchange to support, to provide the buffer that is needed to prevent the level of damage that this external issues may have on the economy.
All right. So you made mention of the fact that it is definitely going to have an impact. There will be a pressure on the exchange rate, and also now still on the monetary policy rate. You know, from where you sit as an analyst, even though you've given your opinion about that, do you think that it's kind of a way to relieve the ordinary Ghanaians some kind of burden? Because like we stated, we are already feeling the pressure, and so they're reducing it to 14 from 15, and you said that is where banks actually, that is where loans, that is the measure of loans and all that. So
interest on loans.
Yes, so I want to find out, do you think that it's just a way to, for now, to reduce the burden on the ordinary Ghanaian, so as it escalates?
But true. You see, the monetary policy has already achieved its objective. Yeah. That's why we're picking inflation from 23.5%. We are now at 3.3%, and that is even way lower than the medium term, the target inflation targeting framework by the central bank. Yeah. Central bank is 8 plus or minus 2. So at 3.3, you have achieved your target. Yeah. You don't want to continue. And I'm sure, and that is the reason why they continue to reduce the monetary policy rate, because inflation has been tamed down, right? Yeah. But what I'm saying is that there's a risk to that. You see, you foresee the risk is the happenings outside your economy and development in your economy. Okay. So there's an exogenous shock that is emerging and have consequential inflationary impacts. So the question is, how is policy measures, policy put in place to address it? You see, I'm happy on the part of MPA suggesting that to the extent that it crosses $120 per barrel, then the fiscal authorities have to. That is a fiscal measure because it requires some subsidy or cushion for the Ghanaian people. So it's a fiscal measure. Now, quick one. So monetary policy, having seen that your meeting, and the expectation is that inflation may happen based on even their summary report on why they come to that conclusion. My expectation was that there will be some marginal increase in their policy rate so that the transmission through the channels will have some impact to address the foreseeable impact of the inflationary expectations that we are foreseeing.
And with all that is happening, do you foresee that businesses passing the operational or operating cost to the ordinary Ghanaian?
Of course, that is a no-brainer because what you care, you pass your margin on it to be able to get your selling price. At any time, the determination of your price is the cost you incur. You add your margin to it. So, and then that become your selling price. So at any time, if the price of the item that you are buying, which is your cost of production, is going down, then the selling price will also go down. There's a positive relationship between the two. As one goes up, the other also goes up. Are you getting the point? So that's expectation. So if the CD depreciates, the expectation is that the cost of items or the selling price of items will going to go up in the country. And the question is, what do we have? It's more about the buffers. So I'm happy that we have a lot of buffers in terms of the foreign exchange reserves that we have to mitigate those exposures, to tame it. Otherwise, you see, the price you are seeing right now for the fuel prices, if CD was 17 CD to $1, it would have been, the prices at which would have been buying. So the buffer of the buffer of what we have and the policy measures that will help to stabilize the CD has helped contain the extent of the pressures we would have received if we didn't have a stable exchange rate regime. Yeah.
And that the MPA boss actually stated that if not for the strong cedi that we have, fuel prices could have gotten to 23 cedis per liter.
Yes.
And then taking this into consideration or taking this into account, then it means that government can actually do something about it so that businesses or the ordinary Ghanaian would not, bear the cost, but rather government will bear the cost itself, so that they will reduce, in as much as due to the tension, fuel prices are reducing here in Ghana. They will do something about it and pick up the cost and deduct prices of fuel for ordinary Ghanaians, so that businesses can actually go.
You see, we need to. That conversation is a difficult one. You see, and that story has not been told well to the Ghanaian people. The level of control that governments have, over this pricing is close to even the level of the percentage of control is close to nothing, because the price build-up that you see at the pump is made up of 3 components. I can even say 4 components. The first one is the FOB price. The FOB price is the price at which the foreign supplier is selling to you, the local importer. Are you getting the point?
Yes.
Now, that price is determined by international demand and supply forces, which is not determined by you. So in this case, the reason why you are seeing the price shoot up is because 20% of the global demand has gone down as a result of the war there. There's no supply. So demand and supply. So if the supply has come down, then the price will shoot up. Are you getting the point? Now, so is that is that within the control of the government of Ghana? No. Because that supply you cannot produce those items again because of the war. So definitely the price of the commodity, those that have it and consider, hey, now let me increase my price. Because we have limited supply now, right? So the price of the commodity to go up, which is traded on the international market. Right? So that is the first one, the FOB. Now, that FOB is bought in dollars. Must be paid for in dollars. Now, so if you are exchanging your cedi at 10 cedis, then the price of the FOB will be low. If you are exchanging your cedi at 20 cedi, then the conversion factor of the FOB will be high. So cause the cedi equivalent of the items to be higher. Are you getting the point? That makes the cost of the item to go up. So the only control that government of Ghana has is the dollar. One of them is the cedi stabilization, the rate at which the cedi is converted into the foreign currency, which is the dollars. Another thing that is in the build-up, FOB, is the tax component. Now, let me tell you, those even like the last 2 days or so, the finance minister was mentioning to a section of the labor that they borrowed about 17 billion to make up to be able to pay compensation. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Now, if a country is not able to make money, even after having collected all these taxes, they are not able to make. They have to borrow to pay salary. Do you expect the government to go and say that they are going to remove these taxes when it is already not satisfactory to meet the needs of the country, right? So that the taxes can never be, and the impact of in all this that you see, the government's taxes is about 3 cedis on 3 to 4 cedis on the total price that you are seeing there, right? So and they cannot take all and run a tax-free regime in the petroleum sector. I get the point.
Yes, so that also brings me to the fact that people are also making a suggestion that 1 cedi levy on petroleum prices of the energy sector should be taken off. That is what the minority in parliament is taking off.
You see, we are missing. Let's understand the financial management of the country, and when people make stakeholders make some argument, then we are well informed and then can make. Now, let me tell you, the coming into force of the new government, we're owning IPPs, huge jets, and they threatened to take out our lighters as a country. So there was the need to find a sustainable measure to address the legacy issues that was in the IPP sector. So the government then thought it appropriate that no, let me put a levy there to give me a sustainable revenue stream to address the shortfall that we have in the energy sector, so I can pay the IPPs on time, and Ghana as an economy can have sustainable energy to power industries, to power our homes, power industries that will need it for production. Now, what the minority is suggesting is that we should remove that one cedi so that we have Dumso, so that we cannot pay the IPPs, so that companies and you and the likes, when we come here, we will not have ACG because the IPPs have taken off there. Is that what the conversation you want to have?
A section also argues that. So what they are saying is that one cedi levy has actually outlived its purpose, because recently it was reported that government has been able to clear that legacy debt.
No. We paid it. The government paid what was due, but there are outstanding debts already, which government has have a repayment schedule, a payment schedule with them, and we're paying. And there will be a need for. It's not a one-off payment. There are accumulated debt that was there as the new government paid, and it's not only you don't only pay for like the previous accumulated period, but year in year out, as you have moving, you have to also pay that. And you have to develop a sustainable fiscal regime, revenue regime, to be able to mobilize revenue to be paying these legacy issues and the recurrent year expenditure on those things. I get the point. Yes, and so those are the things that we need as a country. So what that policy measure or recommendation by the minority is suggesting that, one, we shouldn't get revenue to pay the IPPs. When we go to offices and our homes and in industries, we should be doing so. And then we come here, we cannot do your show as we are supposed to do. Is that the kind of economy that we want to see?
But then also still on that, you know, this is an unforeseen contingent. Like we never foresaw this, actually coming. And so this has become the issue. And then the ordinary Ghanaian is burdened. And so for now, one will say that since we've made some payment, we can hold on for now, try to take it off. And if the tension actually comes down, then we go back to visit it. And then currently on the back of that too, the price of gold has actually shot. So putting that one too into perspective, government still cannot do anything.
Yeah, so it depends on the revenue. All this thing depends on the revenue, the type of revenue that the government is seeking to, and whether they will want to borrow to solve the problem, to address their revenue shortfall. Because what will require is that they will have to take the one cedi off, and then see how, where other sources can I plug in? Can I get it through borrowing? You understand? And that's a decision that the government has mentioned, that when the price gets $128 per barrel, they may look at those considerations may come to the table.
And then still on the issue, let's now look at the companies or the institutions involved. How coordinated is the Ministry of Finance, MPA, and other institutions in terms of this very crisis?
Yes, so you mentioned it earlier that stakeholders met to look at the issues and develop. And I'm sure from those conversations that it emerged as a matter of policy that if the price crosses 120, we have to. I'm sure they have done the simulations. They've looked at the possible impact if the price hits $120 per metric ton and or per barrel. What will be the implication? Those simulations have been done, and that is why that determination was made that if the price gets to that point, there's no other option than to provide some relief to the Ghanaian. It has some political dimensions too. And so you don't want to always look at how to balance policy objectives with political objectives. So what they will do is to then probably seek the opinion of the president and the cabinet together with the finance minister. How do we waive this, take away this levy and look at maybe plugging it through other revenue measures or going to borrow from, and I'm happy they want to go to the bond market this year to rake in some borrowings, and that may help to address this issue. So it's a policy decision, but I would want them to take that decision, looking at the impact, but we should also look at the sustainability of it, whether this will really end the short term in the few months or it will stay for long, and how, if you are going to give some relief to the Ghanaian, what about the big push impact? What about the roads we want to construct? What about the schools? What about the health infrastructure? Are we going to, there must be a balancing act between all the policy objectives and have a balance of what we can do.
So still now on the economy, comparing the economy we have currently today to the previous economy, would you say that with what we have today, we are prepared as a country for these external, shocks?
Of course, we have. You see, there are fundamentals of any economy that you see. You see, it is not you and I who determine those indicators. Just like when you go to the hospital, the doctor picks your sample and then run the result and say that on the basis of this result, this is what is happening to you. And the same thing is there's a measurement of the health of an economy. And there are economic indicators that measure same. So if people are arguing about an economy, we shouldn't argue about based on subjectivities. We should argue on what the data is. And that is where we have constructive argument. So when people are comparing that, we did better than you, and I'm saying that, why do TV shows and the hosts are not letting speak to the issues as they are? What are the measurements for determining that an economy is better or not? There are economic indicators, and let's speak to that alone. Are you getting the point? Yes. Now we have strong import cover. When it comes to the IMF requirement, we are supposed to have 3 months import cover, but in the medium term. But as we speak, the Ghanaian economy has 5.8 months import cover, and that's a good news, right? That means they've even passed the IMF benchmark, which is a good thing. Another good thing is our debt portfolio. Now, our debt to GDP is 45.5%, vis-a-vis what the minimum threshold for the developing economy should be 60%. Okay, now we are doing 5.5. It means that the debts are sustainable, following the DDP and the other restructuring that we did, and some write-offs by our creditors that has helped us achieve these sustainable levels, right? It gives room for you to be able to go into the capital market again and borrow and finance developmental agendas. That is good. Are you getting the point? Yes. Now, you see a very good reduction in interest rate. The only thing we have not seen is how that reduction leads to an increase in access to credit, because the interest rate can reduce. But whether the banks are willing to advance those monies to the private sector to engineer the kind of growth and income that would, is another conversation. So on the policy part, Bank of Ghana should push the banks to do that. So in interest rate is coming down, inflation is 3.3, and why are we saying that? It's no-brainer. It means the fundamentals are strong, and we expect that even though this exogenous shocks may impact the economy, the extent to which we had that, the extent to which we have buffers are better than what we had in the past. In the past, the reason why nobody can negate the impact of Russia and Ukraine war on the economy, but the reason why we went straight to the ICU center was because the fundamentals were very bad. Are you getting the point? Debt was skyrocketing. We were denied access to the external capital market to show our reserves because we are borrowed than what we need. There were fiscal vulnerability. We were using about 90% of the tax revenue to pay only interest payment and amortization alone. Which country can survive with this kind of fundamentals? So there were fundamentals that were wrong. We borrowed too much on the domestic and capital market. The consequence, and that conversation we should have it. There's a distinction between the impact of Russia-Ukraine war and the impact of this. Let me tell you what happened with the distinction between the two. Now, you cannot have an exogenous, when you have an exogenous shock that causes you to say that I am doing a restructuring, then it means that it is due to, it is because you are borrowed. This Israel, Iran-US war will not lead to this current government going to say that, oh, now I'm going to the bond, now I've been denied access to the capital market, I'm going to restructure my bonds. No. The only reason why you did that was because you overborrowed. And you run a fiscal deficit of 15% in the year 2020 because it was an electionary year, and it was a year that COVID impacted us. Look at the major, at the point, I don't want to sound political, at the point, some political office holders of the elsewhere administration were saying that government distributed, they gave them 100,000 to sort their constituencies out. You remember those videos that came up? Yes. So it was fiscal mismanagement and debt vulnerabilities that exposed the fundamentals then, so that it was not because and we're blacklisted from the external market, so we couldn't go there to raise the needed foreign exchange that we needed to address the external issues that we have. That is what they cause. Right now, the debt issues are very sustainable. So you could see that government will not come and call all bondholders and treasury bill holders or external creditors now. Because of this exogenous shock, now I have to engage in another debt exchange program again. That will not be the conversation. Sure. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
So that's the disparity between the two positions.
And then on this note, I would like to quote the former vice president: when the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. This time around, Mr. Martin is saying that the fundamentals are weak. You're still watching the Business Update segment right here on the Koko Digest Morning Show, and we are talking about the Middle East crisis, implications on Ghana's economy. And Mr. Martin, before we go, I would like to ask this last question. If these global tensions persist, what does this mean to the average Ghanaian in the next 3 to, let's say, 5 months?
Well, we'll have a very big issue in the economy. We'll have a very big issue. Inflation will go up. Cost of fuel will go up. Prices, cost of items will go up. The cedi may depreciate. It will affect the economy as a whole.
And so, before you go, what are your last words to our viewers?
Yes, Paul, I believe that the current government has done well. There's threats to the stability programs or achievements we are seeing as a country. And my expectation is that the fiscal measures should look at how to bring some relief if the issues become so grievous. And also at the central bank, they should look at how to consolidate their money policy very well to make sure that these triggers, as they arise, we have the buffer to address them.
Thank you very much, Mr. Martin Ohinenim, for this insightful conversation. It's always a pleasure to have you. And this has been a very important conversation about the Middle East crisis and then the implication on the Ghana's economy at large. And you heard from our guests, our experts, giving us the analysis. And then something that actually sticks with me is what he said about the fundamentals. He said the fundamentals are good, it looks good. And so the possibility of you going back to what actually happened in the ex-war administration is, it's not that likely. And so going forward, the Bank of Ghana is in control, and then energy minister and all those involved in the energy issue, like he rightly stated, things are in place that as time goes on, we will get to find out where we'll head towards. Thank you very much for sticking and staying with us. This has been the Business Update segment with me, Peter Ojo Nsia. Please stay with us. Thank you very much.
You're welcome back to your favorite morning show, the Koko Digest Morning Show. My name is Nanaya Asari, and we're going to have an extensive discussion with Benedict Nketia Kwarteng and Nana Kofi Nketia, as I should have said, and also Kojo Nsia, who is also here with me in the studios. You can also send in your messages via WhatsApp 0500500421. Today, what are we going to discuss? We are hearing about some series of issues concerning mobile SIM re-registration. We're also hearing about the prevalence of the mobile money fraud and other issues that are in the fore. I'll be having these discussions with Kojo Nsia and Benedict Kofi Nketia. We'll be also opening the phone lines as if time will permit us to send in for you to be able to join in the conversation as we are going on. We'll start by the fraud warning that we are receiving, that users are advised to be vigilant when engaging in unknown numbers and online calls because scams are on the rise. I want to have your basic reflections on these particular issues because there is a backstory to all of this. Now, mind you, when the prevalence of mobile payments began earlier on in Africa, there are two main telcos, or let's say three main telcos in and around Ghana at the time. And one of them decided that, let me take my people to Kenya. Let me take my technicians to Kenya and East Africa, where that particular thing is being used more often, predominantly used over there. Let them understand the system and let me come and implement. Another one, I'm not mentioning names because I don't want us to start blaming and pointing fingers at people, said, this is what we are going to do. With the little knowledge that we have about it, let us start implementing it so that we can gain the larger market share. And indeed, they have gained the larger market share when it comes to mobile payments and mobile wallet payments. But along with it came the prevalence of the mobile money fraud and then the online scams that these things are associated to. You realize that to one particular party or one particular network, the scams are limited. On the other, it's on the rise, it's on the prevalence. So this is the backstory that I want us to start this particular conversation on. Fraud warning, mobile money alerts.
Nana, I would like to begin by saying that it's high time we hold these telcos responsible. I mean, this is not the first time hearing this. A lot of people have lost thousands or millions of cedis to these fraud activities. And then mind you, any time you deploy a different strategy to ensure that you kept these fraudulent activities, those fraudsters also upgrade. The more you upgrade, the more they upgrade. And so what we are talking about is that currently these telecommunications, these telcos should be held responsible in terms of these fraud activities because you can't tell me that they don't know what is actually going on. What they do is that if I lose, let's say 10,000 Ghana cedis, all they can do is just retrieve my account and give it to me and the money is gone. It has become a norm, but then a whole lot of people are suffering. What about those who are not able to come out to say what the amount of money they've lost to this act? So I know that the telcos or the telecommunications actually have the details of every member or everyone registered to their company, and they should be able to trace. Because if I'm using your SIM, you have my data, my everything. As you're also using their SIM, they have your details. So it shouldn't be that another person will try to steal my details, take some huge amount from me, and all that you can do is to get my accounts back, and then the money is gone. You don't punish anybody. So I think it's high time we direct our anger, our grievances to the telcos to make sure that this issue becomes a thing of the past, because a lot of people are suffering. Every day we preach about being careful, do not give out your PIN, but these people deploy different means. They come back with different means. But before you realize, you might think you are ready, you are alert. Before you realize, you're gone. And so I think we should pay much attention to this telecommunication. They should be up and doing so that customers wouldn't be feeling this way.
They definitely should be up and doing. And Nana Kofi Nketia.
Yes, Anaya, thank you very much. Now, I'm glad Kojo Nsia took the conversation from this angle where people are being scammed, even though we are trying to curb these issues and all that. And of course, from the introduction, you could tell that it is actually inadequate preparation because we have, like we already said, one communication, one network with strong backings. We don't really hear issues about these fraudsters, fraudulent activities and all, but the other one, we are facing issues like this every day. And then as the day goes on, they are still upgrading. And then one thing I realized is that the Ghanaians are being scammed because the digital space is actually growing, but then the digital education for the citizens are not improving. You understand? So I think we need to focus more on getting, imparting digital education into people, our communities, our societies. The thing is, you might think you are over, you cannot be scammed. But before you realize you are a victim, and then you'll be wondering, how have I been scammed? I mean, I thought I knew about these things because there are lots of ways they do it. I have been scammed myself before, and after everything, I was like, how did this happen? How did this happen to whole me? I mean, knowing these things and being vigilant about it, but still I was scammed. So I think we need to really pay attention to these kind of activities. We need to keep our
you were scammed?
Yes, I was scammed. That was about 2-3 years ago. And the thing has to do with understanding how our verification works. In Ghana, yes, I'm limiting it to Ghana. I don't know about other countries, but in Ghana, our verification culture is quite low. A lot of people don't know how to verify contact numbers, verify emails, verify links, payments, requests, payment procedures. We don't really have that kind of verification culture, unlike in the Western world where right now you can just put your phone on the verification machine and then you just make payments. It's easy as that, but in this country, even if this means of payment is introduced, there will be other fraudulent ways to take monies from people because we don't have that verification culture. We have not really learned, taking our time to study how these things work. And it's quite unfortunate. We are suffering so much with these fraudulent activities. Sometimes you can receive calls upon calls and you'll be wondering, how do these people know that I have money in my account? The times that you don't have money in your account, you don't receive these calls. At the moment you receive a substantial amount of money in your accounts, then you'll be receiving strange calls, calling you, telling you to verify this, do this and all that. So I think we need to verification culture. That's one part I think we need to build more on and equip it so that we can avoid all these fraudulent activities going on.
I don't know whether we've opened the phone lines yet, but the number displayed on your screens are for texting us on WhatsApp only. If you keep calling the number, I wouldn't be able to pick up. And we are getting some messages, so I'll read a few of them and then we'll go on. This one is coming from Mr. Groove. He says, good morning, I'm enjoying the show. This one is also coming from Beatrice, who is talking about other news items that we are also seeing here on Clock TV, which we'll be going into later on. But yes, because we are talking about mobile money fraud, let me just link it to another person who is probably we can say very educated, who is very educated and is seen as a socialite, is an actress, and she's been on TV, she's done all of that, but she was still scammed. So it's not based on your experience, it's not based on that you just have to be vigilant all the time. We'll play that particular video of Jocelyn Duma and her recounting the story of how she got scammed when she was trying to pay her DSTV bill.
I was scammed, and my MTN Momo wallet was literally emptied. So I called DSTV, and DSTV, you guys need to check this thing. I called DSTV thinking that I was speaking to a representative to upgrade my package. Now, this person was really polite, he was really kind, he was really helpful, he was patient with me, and he now, basically what he said to me was, he sent me a link that I should key in my decoder number and add my PIN number. So I asked him, I said, but why? He said, oh, the system is down here. So the only way they can actually rectify how I paid and how much I paid and how much is left for me to top up for the upgrade is by me entering my PIN. But I'm the one doing it, right? He sent me the link. So he sent me the link, I did it. And then he forwarded me another link and he was like, Madam, please, we only have 15 seconds. We have like barely 15-20 seconds because the system is down. But I'm going to send you another link and there's a number. Please mention the number back to me. But when you're mentioning the number back to me, key in the decoder number just like the way you keyed it in with the first link I sent you. And I was like, again, because he says we have only 15 minutes, I didn't have enough time to process. So I keyed in the entire thing, including my PIN number, and I sent it back to him. And then I gave him the number that he had generated as well through the second link he sent me. So by that time, he was now talking to me, making small talks and stuff like that. He was even telling me to put the channel on different channels and stuff. And then he says, oh, madam, this number you're talking to me on, is it your Momo number or is Airtel? And I was like, oh, no, it's Momo because I ported. And this is the number I would usually use to pay my DSTV because I really pay like ahead, like 6 months or a year ahead. As soon as I said to him that is my number, I felt a vibration on my phone. All my money was emptied in the account. And in the process of him talking to me as well, because he now had my PIN, because I willingly gave it to him. Oh, can you imagine? Because he now has my PIN and my number, he was able to get into my MTN Momo app. And then he signed me on for something called Extra Pay or something like that. So what happens is if you are sending somebody Momo and you don't have enough money, MTN will still offset it. And then when you're able to sort of pay Momo back into your account, into your wallet, MTN will deduct the money. So even after everything they did to me and emptied my account, when I rectified everything with MTN and then they restored my mobile money for me and my wallet for me and everything else, I went in to pay some money in so I can do my transactions. And that money, the second money they tried to take out, was also deducted. Guys, please be vigilant. Beware of who you speak to. Beware of links that are sent to you. Look, some of the stories I heard from MTN here, it busts my brain. Like, they have been scamming people of upwards to 100,000 CDs. They even get access into your phone to get into your banking app. So please be careful. Don't give your PIN out, no matter who it is. Yes, you guys, you need to rectify.
This actually goes to show that you can be very beautiful, very educated and all that and still get scammed. And because of this particular issue, there's been calls for the re-registration of our SIM cards so that we can tighten security when it comes to the SIM and then the details concerning each SIM and then each SIM owner. With reference to that, the Honorable Minister for Communications was actually speaking on that particular subject matter. Let's hear what he said.
DG, anyway, but like I said, that register, and I think that I'll use this to answer a question that may come up. If it doesn't come up, all the better. I will respond anyway. It's a question I've heard. Why are you asking all of us to register again if you have some of the data? And DG spoke about 40 million SIMs that were registered previously. Why don't you just identify? You did a sample verification, 81.1% passed. So why don't you just migrate those 81.1%, the 1.3 million out of 1. You did 2.3. You did like 2.3 million tests and 1.8 passed. So why don't you just migrate the 1.8 and ask the rest to just go and do the registration again? The reason why you can't do that is two-pronged. First, you saw the system, the example of I don't want to say fake Ghana cards because one may be real, one may be legitimate. But you saw the duplicate Ghana card that was shown. In the system today, part of that 81.1% that has passed the first phase could be could have been done with fraudulently acquired Ghana cards, which are not legitimate. So what you will then do, if you just do a wholesale migration, is that you are migrating the flaws of the old system into a new system and claiming that you are cleaning up. You're not cleaning up. You're actually migrating the viruses. You have infected files and you are migrating them onto a new system. You are basically replicating the problems of the old system. And that's part of the reason why we can't do a wholesale migration. And that's cured today by NIA's solution that they are offering to us based on the collaboration we are having with them, which is a liveliness test. So, because you see, I could take your Ghana card and enter the details. In the old system, I could actually take a photo. I could register on the old system with a photo of your card, and the system will accept it.
So this is what the Honorable Minister of Communications is actually saying, that there are some Ghana cards in the system that were not acquired legitimately. Therefore, some of the percentage of people that passed when they did their registration sample testing out of 2.3 million, the 1.8 million that passed, that is over 80%. Some of them may have that fraudulent Ghana cards, in quotes, that they used to do that particular registration. But then I'm going to frame this question in this way. We have a national identity authority where they have the database of all Ghana cards that are acquired properly. So now, when it comes to the database, I do some database analysis. I know that once you have a unique ID field, you can compare that to another database, which is the NCA's database of registered Ghana cards as well. The ones that do not tally, you take them out and you tell them to do the re-registration than to do wholesale registration, which will cost the government millions and millions of Ghana cedis once again. Let me have your thoughts on it briefly, because our time is fast spent.
Yeah, I think the information the Honorable Minister was passing on, to me, I think it's far-fetched. And it's just a waste of time, a waste of funds, and a waste of resources. Just as you rightly said, there is a very easy way to approach this. Just compare the database you have with NCA, database you have with NIA. Compare the ones that the system flags out as not as irregular, because when you compare two data, with my name Benedict Nketia Kwatin, if you find Benedict Nketia Kwatin but with different details, the same name and all that, you can tell that okay, one is not accurate, one is a fraudulent account. You just take it out, and then if I have to re-register, you just call on these few citizens and let them do it. But I think I don't know what is happening. Maybe it's just a way to restart everything altogether for political reasons. We don't know. We don't know where this thing is going on. But I think what we have to look out for is holding people accountable. We need to find out who has access to these details, because you'll be there and your details are out there. We have a minister here. He's talking about safeguarding our information, making sure there is no data breach and all that. But then we'll still find out our details are out there. So who has access to these database? How is it stored? How is it stored? And then who audits the auditors? Who are the auditors who make sure these information are being kept? We need to. My problem with this, if he wants to do it all over, I don't have a problem. Whatever he wants to do, it's fine. But then mine has to do with who is going to make sure these details, who is going to be accountable when there are breaches, when there are issues, when there is transparency problem. Who is going to be held accountable? Is it a minister? Does he have some designates that we can hold on to? These are questions that keeps on coming into mind whenever I think about these issues. And I think we need to look at it because they are pressing.
Yeah, that's a very good one. Nana?
Yes. Nana, for me, I want to take it from a different perspective. How were they able to identify fraudulent, people in the database? So, how they were able to identify? So, if you've been able to identify that A, B, C, D, S, it does not, depict, or is not the real, person in question. Like, you take them out and then engage the rest. You see, this exercise, the way and manner Ghanaians suffered, the kind of queues they joined to be able to register their sins. For you to tell us you have to do the re-registration again. How is this process going to be like? How is it going to be different from the previous one that we had? No, we understand that the previous one, you go, they take you a picture, they take your fingerprints. What kind of identification again is the minister actually asking for currently? Because I know when you are asked to identify yourself, you show your cards. Yeah. And currently, because of technological advancements, they take like your facials, like those ones, your fingerprint, and what have you. But then my issue right now is the amount of money involved, and then the time. You know, the money that was spent previously, like the SIM registration exercise actually took place in 2021 to 2022, 2023. Look at the amount of money spent, and then the time that Ghanaians, I would say at this point, wasted time, because if you're saying that most of these people fraudulently, registered their SIM card, then what you're telling us is that it was a waste of time waking up at dawn to join long queues just to register your SIM. And you see, I don't know, it shouldn't be that, before this government came into power, the Honorable Minister was, I think, a ranking member on communication or something, and he raised issues concerning the, registration exercise. So, you see, it is high time we come together as one people, unity. It shouldn't be that my party is not in power, and so if there's something going on that is not going to help the country, you keep quiet. And then when your party comes to power, you embark on that without thinking about the resources, the taxpayers' money that you use, the time of the ordinary Ghanaian. I mean, it was very chaotic during the registration exercise. You would have to go join long queues, and then for you to come and tell us that you have to re-register again. I mean, we are in technological world. We are using. Let's make good use of the technology we are talking about. How are you going to ensure that this time around people do not fraudulently, register their SIMs? And then, are we also saying that all those who registered for the Ghana card, most people are not? I don't really get the whole situation, because SIM registration, you go with your Ghana card to register your SIM, and we know that the Ghana card contains your details. And so, if I register my SIM with my Ghana card, every details of my SIM, is about me. Yeah. So when you type, it is my name, my picture, my date of birth, everything appears. And so I think that we should tackle this issue from the telcos, because they are supposed to protect our data. You understand? So if I register a SIM with my Ghana card, and later when I find that we also have a SIM which contains my details, then it means that we don't have to blame those who registered, but we have to blame the telcos, because they have access to our details. Because when registering, I gave you my details. You understand? So for me to also find out that another person is having a SIM which was actually registered with my details, then it means that there's a question mark. We don't have to go back to do this whole re-registration exercise again, because, the kind of stress it will come with, I don't think we are ready for it. And this time around, I heard that the process is going to be different. They'll capture your face, everything. Like you said, my Ghana card has my name and my face. And so when you enter it, it pops up. So we should rather, spend money on how to upgrade our systems, how to ensure that these fraudulent activities will come to an end, and also hold the telcos, to be responsible, because they have access to our details. Data protection laws must work in this country.
All right, data protection laws must definitely work in this particular country. I'll give you the chance then, Nana Kofi-Nketia, for the final words, because our time is up. So just in just a minute.
Yes. So I just want to data is one of the most important parts when it comes to building a country and all. Data goes a long way. If you have the data for whatever you want to do, it helps you, makes things easier. And I want to just pass on this information that if you want to know the number of contact numbers registered on your Ghana card, there is a short code, that is *402*1#. *402*1#. You'll be asked to provide your Ghana card, and then they'll tell you the number of SIMs. The number of SIMs that has been registered on your Ghana card. So check that, and then if you can disconnect, just take the ones that are not yours, take them off so that you'll be safe and all that. And then about the data is the new gold. It's information I just want to pass on to the telcos. Data is the new gold, but in Ghana we are digging without securing the vault. So please, let's secure the vault as well as we keep on digging for data to improve our country. Thank you.
definitely in our quest to fully secure the vote, we'll continue this particular conversation on Tuesday. Viewers, it's a promise that we'll continue this conversation on Tuesday. This has been the Koko Digest Morning Show. I've been in the studios with Nana Kofi Nketia and Kojo Nsia, bringing you updates from wherever you've actually watched it. If you've enjoyed the sports segment, you've enjoyed the business segment, you've enjoyed the lifestyle segment, and even this particular discussion, make sure you make a date with us next Tuesday at same time, 6:30 a.m. We'll come again on next Thursday as well to bring you the best when it comes to morning shows. This is Koko Digest Morning Show. My name has been Nanaya Asare. We'll end here and then we'll take a breather. So don't go anywhere. Stick with the rest of the programs on Clock TV.